Good evening. We begin tonight with Governor Little appointing a new lawmaker to the State House, and this new legislator comes with quite the backstory. Coeur d'Alene pastor Tim Remington will replace Representative John Green, who was expelled from the legislature earlier this month after being convicted of felony tax fraud in Texas. Remington is well known for surviving a serious shooting at his church 4 years ago.
He saw me as an alien, and this entity that came into his life told him and I forget things every now and then.
Regardless, he says he was appointed to the legislature for a reason, and he sees it as an honor, not a burden. One of his top priorities, taking a closer look at the recently introduced anti-abortion bill.
Father, we come before you and we want you to be honored in everything that we do. Voting is a privilege and an honor, and I pray, Lord God, that we will make a stand for what we believe, and we will show up to vote for a man of God. An economically strong nation, once again, so our children don't have to pay for what we've done. A humble man that listens to God and listens to the people. A man that stands in character and strength no matter what. A man that cares about the elderly along with the children and the medical care that is given to this nation. A man that is able to guide this nation in a spiritual battle along with the physical battle against the real enemy. A man of discernment, a man of wisdom, and a nation that will listen. A man that will protect the lives of innocent unborn babies. A man that will protect the freedom of religion and the right to serve our God. Give us your man, oh God. Nothing short of a miracle in this nation. May you get all the glory, all the honor, and all the praise for it, Lord. And we ask this unashamedly in the name of Jesus Christ. And everybody said, Amen. Amen.
And his biggest passion, progressing a bill to give addicted juveniles a place to recover.
We have 100 beds for adults, but we have 0 because they won't let us for juveniles. For juveniles. For juveniles. And if we had it for juveniles, we could get to these juveniles without government overreach into what we're doing. Without government overreach into what we're doing, we could get to these juveniles and save their lives.
Remington's other priority, using his background to make peace in the legislature.
Our party has been fractured for a long time. Both parties are fractured, but I really want to add any healing that I can. We don't need to get mad at each other. We don't need to holler at each other. This is a simple thing of sitting down, person to person, and if I can use the term, it's just time to grow up and have man-to-man conversations without throwing a big fit.
Welcome to I'm Sick of This Place. We got notes today. And today we're talking about Kyle Odom. Who is Kyle Odom? He was a man who may or may not have used transcendental meditation to speak to an entity or speak to a being that he describes of pure love and feminine energy, which then led to him being sexually assaulted, mentally mind raped by reptilians and I guess amphibians. So, a little bit about Kyle Odom from the notes. From Idaho, he joined the Marines and he got a degree in biochemistry. He says that the humanoids, the amphibian humanoids are from Mars and they are here to more or less breed us humans and control us. Now here's the thing. With aliens, with Illuminati, sounds like I'm hearing a cat fight or the wind. Yeah, that's the cat fight. Hey, who the fuck? This is Bongo. Now that we're back from a cat fight, and he's gonna go back out the door, cause more mischief. He's a goddamn mischief maker. So where were we? They are amphibian humanoids from Mars that breed us humans to control them from birth. The Martians live inside the moon. They live underground. And where was I at before the cat fight? Yes. The thing about aliens and all these secret societies is I don't know what to believe, but it's fun to just hear anything. Because what it seems like, at least what I come across, is that all these, let's say all the secret societies are loosely connected to one another, and all the aliens are loosely connected to one another. I don't know what that means, and I don't know if so what I'm thinking is 3 different scenarios. One, being aliens exist and they are in control. 2, being aliens exist and they are in partial control with humans. Or 3, aliens don't exist and it's all like Illuminati bullshit, and the idea of aliens and stuff is to get us further away from God. But according to Kyle Odom, there is no God, and that these aliens, these amphibians, I constantly want to see these as acetaminophenes. They, I forgot where I was at. See, I can, if I record late at night, I lose my train of thought. I record in the morning with coffee, I lose my train of thought. I am always losing my train of thought. But I'm going to go back to my notes. Even Obama, they apparently, if you want to be anything, you got to be raped by one. And apparently, Obama got raped. I'm not saying he did. Kyle Odom saying that Obama got raped by aliens. If you want to be in a position of power, you're going to get raped. Eisenhower tried to warn us. Kennedy fought him, got killed. What is Trump doing? I don't know. Could he be an alien? They say that aliens, they sniff a lot. They stick their tongue out. It even the thing even said that Nancy Pelosi is a Martian, or maybe at the very least a controlled human. I am a wild human. I'm gonna assume you are a wild human. There are also humans that are Martian controlled and blue collar jobs, which confused me because I can understand them being in, local governments all throughout, whatever, police officers and, all that shit. But you're telling me, which I guess I could understand, like that higher, like Mara Barra or whatever the fuck that cunt's name is, from GM. And I use that word loosely, meaning anyone out of a position of power that exploits others is a cunt. So he attempted suicide twice, but they stopped him, and it ruined his life. So during one of his meditations, he encountered a blue light, astral projection, transcendental meditation. I'm going to say a lot of shit that I just rambled because I'm rambling and then I'm going to go look at my notes. Sometimes it's just going to be circling back to what I already said. So during one of his meditations, he encountered a blue light while astral projecting. So after that, he accepts an offer from Baylor College of Medicine to work on a PhD in human genetics. This is another thing. This dude is smart as shit. He's a Marine. He studied human genetics. He goes like pharmacy school. He studied like biochemistry. The dude is smart. And in the manifesto, he has all the receipts. It's all fucking scanned. All his documents, report cards. Could he have faked it? Possibly. Is it a lot to fake? Kind of. I wouldn't do that. So while he's at the college and in the classroom, he has really bad vibes from the teachers and some of the classmates. And everything the teacher is saying seems like bullshit to him. So he wants to leave, and eventually two of his classmates, who are alleged aliens named Eugene Lurie and Brandon Pekarek. Mind you, these people I looked up, and it is exactly what you assume. It's like they do look off. Could it be that they're, some sort of reptilian acetaminophen amphibian? Possibly. Or could it just be like weird bloodlines and they kind of look like, maybe 5 generations ago they had some incest? Because they do kind of look a little different. So these two classmates were allegedly on a task to make him a school shooter, and he finds that out because one day he's trying to leave and they're just making finger gun pew 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 pew, and then they tell him telepathically that we were gonna make you a school shooter. So right off the bat he's like, what the fuck is happening? And while this is going on, some days he seems and he feels normal and he looks normal, and then other days he doesn't. That's a lot of people. I think you, whomever, have days where they think they look good or they think they feel good or they don't feel like themselves. So who knows? Maybe that's just these acetaminophen fucking amphibians messing with us. I don't know. But on his travels, he's on an airplane and he gets a new seat. He sits down and like, your seat's been actually taken. You need to go sit over here. And there's this old creepy dude that keeps looking back and smiles at him and starts brain blasting him. And by that, I mean, he tries to like psychically read him. There's a lot of weird shit that eventually these aliens can allegedly do. So he's getting mind raped. And then he also noticed somebody holds up a newspaper for like 5 minutes that says psychic reading. So he's like, what the fuck is happening? He's like, I feel like somebody's in my head. There's a newspaper that says psychic reading. After they get off the plane, the old man approaches him and starts telling him how great a track phone is. And really, it is in the name, right? They track you with a track phone. It's a tracking device. And all phones are that, but there's a reason why they wanted to give you free phones. Hello. Anything free is obviously you are the product, actually. There's nothing free in life. As all this shit is going on, he's thinking this might be a government agency messing with him since he applied to. So while all this weird shit's going on, he's like, I applied to CIA. Maybe this is how they root people out. Oh, maybe this is the NSA, how they figure out, are you smart enough to deduce random encounters in life And maybe this is FBI. Oh, maybe this is how they figure out what type of thing you're into. Maybe you're gonna be a spy. Maybe you're able to, got something special. But anyways, so he gets a track phone. See, and this is really weird. It's like if you're getting psychically attacked and old people like get a track phone, they're really cool. This is in like 2014, I think. Something like that, yeah, 2014-ish. So, I don't know about you, but I have always been anti authority. If somebody's going to tell me something in the back of my mind, I'm like, fuck you. I'm not going to do that. But he gets a track phone and he gets this message from John Palda. It is a damn shame I cannot read my own writing. In fact, he goes to church with him to get he goes to church with him to a place called the altar, and he gets creeped out and he leaves. And at the altar, while I was reading this and writing shit down, I'm copying and pasting. There's links in there to YouTube videos that are no longer available. There are all these names of places. I'm trying to make sure, like the two guys that told him that he was going to be turned into a school shooter. I looked up one, and he did go to the same college. I didn't look up the other one. But hey, if one's right, I'm not. Dog, I'm doing this shit until like 2:30 a.m. and I haven't ate. Okay, I'm trying to go to bed, but every night, maybe this is why I'm just like kind of like pudgy. Every fucking night, I just eat until I go to bed. So he goes to the altar and he gets creeped out and leaves. There's a dude that sits next to him that smells like vinegar. And he's like, what the fuck? Why does this person smell like vinegar? Why is he sniffing? He's like, oh, he smells like vinegar or a goddamn reptile. What the fuck? So he leaves. And Tim Remington starts sending him Bible messages and weird cryptic shit. And then one day he just sends him angels. And after that happened, shortly after, Kyle says that helicopters start just day and night over his house. And he's like, what in the absolute fuck is this? Anytime there's a goddamn helicopter out, I get up and I look. And a couple days ago, there was one of those, it looked like one of those military transport ones, those big ones with the two propellers. Like, what the fuck is this? Are they coming to get me? Hey. So he meets up with John again. See, and this is the weird thing. It's like, I get creeped out. Myself personally as a person, I get creeped out and I wouldn't want to do. If this is happening to me randomly with no knowledge, I get creeped out. I'm not doing this shit. But here I am reading this and I go, oh man, I kind of want to go to the altar. I kind of want to see if these people are fucking freaks. But then I'm like, if this shit is real, I really don't want to be mind raped and just have my anus and my penis stimulated while I'm in a bakery. I don't want them to throw mental projections of them raping me into my mind, because that's pretty much living. Because your neurology doesn't know the difference between that and reality. And emotional pain and physical pain sets off the same amount. And it's been a while. It's been a while since I've listened to like Why Zebras Don't Get Ulcers and other Robert Sapolsky books. So I'm not going to pretend like I do know, but I am going to pretend like I think I'm right. He meets up with John again and gets an unnatural boner. And he hears Stay Up Late by the Talking Heads. Sister, sister, he's just a plaything. We want to make him stay up all night. And this happened. I like the Talking Heads. But I don't want to hear that shit all night long, all day long. I don't want to hear that shit all day long, all night long. And then he wakes up hearing, You're going to be uncomfortable. All you have to do is breathe. Be sacrificed like Jesus and get beheaded. What the fuck? Imagine. Once again, I like Talking Heads. I don't know. And apparently Kyle Odom had never heard this song. Now, if you just hit me with that, I wouldn't probably put it together. Once again, I was Googling plenty of this shit. It's like, what the fuck, sister? And it was like, oh, that song? And I'm like, I didn't even click on it to hear it because I'm like, oh, I know that song. And, you know, in the kind of cadence that it sings it. Sister, sister, he's just a plaything. We want to make him stay up all night. Where was I? He wakes up hearing you're going to be uncomfortable. Okay, yeah, and get beheaded. So he wakes up hearing that shit, you know, be like Jesus, die for us, get beheaded. And it's weird because it's like, we want you to be a sex slave, but also die. Who knows? They're weird. Maybe they're weird necrophilic, acetaminophen, and fucking amphibians. So he gets a knock at the door, and why would you answer it? Nobody fucking answers the door anymore. I remember being a fat child, along with my sister not being a fat child, and my mother. Anybody, JVs or JHs, whatever, Jehovah Witnesses, JWs, that's what they're called. JW, JV, Junior Varsity Jehovah Witnesses, fucking at the jury house, knocking on our damn door. We would army crawl into the goddamn back of the house because we were terrified. So, like, I don't know. So he gets a knock at the door, and he gets a Jesus pamphlet. The sacrifice of Jesus. And it's like, what the fuck, man? What is happening? Once again, he's back on an airplane. And next thing you know, he's sitting by a guy and he starts touching his leg, and he once again starts getting in his mind, and he wants to fucking spaz out. Imagine if you're on an airplane, some dude's touching your leg first off. Next thing you know, he's in your mind, like mentally raping you, and you're like, gotta not be like that one bitch and be like, he's not real. So he lands in a group, approaches him and sniffs him. So he gets raped mentally by this guy touching him. He's like, you did well, you passed the test. And then he gets off, and all these fucking aliens, these reptiles, these amphibians start sniffing him like the weird bloodhounds. And they follow him around for a little bit and let them know by sniffing the air and sticking their tongues out. And you can see politicians do that a lot. Biden, of course, we know who he loves sniffing people. Who doesn't fucking know that? So he wants to be with his family for a little bit. And he can't because they're following him. He's doing his best to evade them. He's not telling his family about it. But eventually they threaten him. Like, he's like, I don't give a fuck. Threaten me if you want. But don't threaten my family. Like, leave them alone. And because they threaten the family, he's like, fuck, man, I got to go back to the goddamn altar. Oh, and when he goes back for the second time, that's where the vinegar-smelling man, and he sits next to him and he allows him to leave. But both men and women would mind rape him with their sexual fantasies. See, this is okay. So yeah, once again, at a bakery, he gets surrounded by these old men, and they start stimulating his penis and his asshole. I don't know if that's is that how you stimulate an asshole? I don't know. While telling him humans are nothing more than a result of sexual genetic experiment. Your life is over. You are nothing but a toy. Your purpose is now to suck. And then in parentheses, the thing said, our penis. What the fuck, man? Imagine being in a bakery, regardless of if they're aliens or not, just horny old dudes. And I'm sure this has happened to a woman. And I'm sure some gay men have fucking certainly sexually assaulted other men. But imagine you're just trying to get a goddamn croissant and some creepy old man starts stimulating your asshole and your penis and is like, "You're gonna suck our dick." I ain't having that. I'm not having that in my life. So he tries to kill himself. So what he does, and I'm gonna assume this would work. He takes charcoal and he lights it on fire. Like, take a charcoal grill, take this charcoal, lights it on fire, rolls the windows up in his car. You know, asphyxiation or whatever the fuck, smoke inhalation, tried to suffocation. And he wakes up and he's like, "What the fuck? What happened? Where am I?" And after that, he goes in the mental ward because he thought maybe I am going crazy. Maybe this is the only place for me to be safe. Maybe they want me here to just be gone and out of their life. You know what I mean? In a sense of, I won't interact with the outside world that they are trying to control. I will stay in this fucking horrible place because they would not allow him to die. So eventually, for some odd reason, he's like, "Man, I guess I got to go back to the altar. They won't leave me alone. They won't let me die. They want to rape me in a bakery. They want to say sexual shit to me all the goddamn time. Motherfucker, I can't even take a plane without a dude touching my leg." So he goes back to the altar. Tim Remington tells him he should become a minister. Before that, the message was all about become our sex slave. And during this discussion, he saw his real frog face for a second. And I don't know about you, but I have not seen a frog face, but I have seen what I can only describe is a projection of an entity coming out of my oldest sister's face as she screamed at me after I stopped her from stealing my bed. So, once again, I think there's one thing about stealing a PlayStation 5, a Xbox, a gizmo, a gadget, a trinket, a this, a that, or the other. But to really hurt somebody, steal a bed, yeah, that shows you. It's like premeditated. It's like, what is the worst? What is something that's going to hurt somebody? A bed. I don't want you to sleep. I want you to suffer. Anyways, enough about me. Kyle never goes back, but they continue to stalk him in pharmacy school, mentally raping him. That's all they do is it's just like, I go here, they rape me. I go there, they rape me. I go here, they rape me. Imagine just, you can't go anywhere. You can't even be in your house without getting mentally raped. There's just a weirdo standing outside, sniffing, sticking his tongue out, and then butt fucking you mentally. He writes Obama, and, you know, he doesn't say Obama's one, but he does say that Obama did get butt fucked. So apparently, if you want to be anything like a president, you got to get butt fucked by an alien. He says Tim and John are not wild humans. Wild humans are you and maybe me. Tim and John may be mind-controlled humans, or they are frog people. And a lot of times these people are controlled from birth, trauma-based mind control, MK Ultra, and aliens hide in churches because it's the best way to convince people you are good. Just like any son of a bitch. You hide where people assume you are to be good. Or you hide where you can convince people. You hide where you can gain something. Pedophiles hang out in schools. They hang out in churches. They hang out in, anywhere where they have a little bit of authority. Where am I at? Kyle has seen the tech because they bragged about it and he's seen it. And he says that they're millions of years advanced to the point where they can make stuff disappear. He thinks that they are maybe making dimensional rifts or something like that. That's how they can easily pop in and pop out, because he's gone into stores, seen, a familiar face, turn around, blink, and next thing you know, they're all acetaminophen, amphetamines, anthropomorphic. Why can I amphibians? My mind is a goddamn maze, and there's a minotaur in there, and that minotaur does not want me to remember things like amphibians. It always takes me a half a second to synapse there. I don't know why I can ramble and say acetaminophen all day long, but I certainly learned about amphibians before that word. So they can overlap our reality with another dimension somehow. Once again, he's said he's experienced and seen things that are so incomprehensible that he himself cannot actually describe what is happening, what they do, how it's possible. Kyle was targeted because of his meditation and genetics background. They need us to remain ignorant. Martians are on every level of government in every nation, even blue-collar jobs, all keeping us in check. So he wants to, there's a part where it's talking about like the origins in the Bible. And so around 3,800 BC in Ur in Mesopotamia was the first contact of both the reptilians and the amphibians. It says the Bible was inspired by Martians. There is no God. They promote religion to keep mankind divided. And even the Holy Trinity is from them. He doesn't go in specific details about why he believes these things or why these things are true or why we should believe these things. He just basically says that these beings arrived early in ancient human history. You can look at old statues, old carvings, and clearly see these big-eyed reptilian creatures, these big-eyed humanoid-esque monuments, these things that certainly seem similar to us in certain ways, but facial-wise, nah. Every president finds out about them. Eisenhower warned us. Kennedy stood up against them. And Eisenhower, it was, the military-industrial complex. And Kennedy, I don't know. Once again, Kennedy's thing is like, you can say anything you want. What was there? Lyndon B. Johnson, oil, Aristotle and Onassis, and the fucking heroin trade in Vietnam. Just trying to dismantle the CIA and to break it into a million pieces. The mob, you know what I mean? Like, when it comes to anything in life, there is so many ways you can just divvy it up, and nobody really knows. But everything is made up by them to control us. Horror in the news, even Black Lives Matter. According to Kyle Odom, Black Lives Matter started because of the reptilians and the amphibians. Who'd have thunk? Who'd have known? So Martians have zero self-esteem because allegedly when they first came here, 3,800 BC, they tried to live with us humans, and we weren't having that shit. So they became very, very self-esteem, zero self-esteem, and they want to live through us vicariously as humans. He says that the male Martians are hypersexual, hyper-aggressive, and full of paranoia and fear. They don't want you to be confident because they're not confident, which makes sense. They're megalomaniacal, obsessed with sex, extremely aggressive, fearful and paranoid, power-hungry, and obsessed with control. So, the origins of these Martians are that they originally destroyed Mars and will destroy Earth. And because Mars is a little bit further away from the sun than Earth, His theory, Kyle's theory, is that it cooled off quicker and got water way before, our oceans. By the time our oceans had formed, they've had water for 100 million years, or, an extremely long amount of time. And, the Earth had dinosaurs, Mars had technology. They may have killed the dinosaurs after establishing a moon base. The moon is hollow, and a lot of the deep underground military bases, or DUMBs, might be because of them and all the old tunnel systems. Which goes into Nikola Tesla. If you want to understand the universe, think of it in terms of energy, frequency, and vibrations. Apparently, and I looked there, I read some, there's like two, like one's from like 1901, and there's another one where Nikola Tesla apparently picked up Martian waves because this dude was a genius. I forgot how he died. I wonder if Martians killed him. So he says Martians use non-Hertzian waves, longitude waves, or transverse waves. Tesla said those are better than Tesla said that they are better than electromagnetic waves. And Tesla also thought the wavelengths could control a planet's size, shape, season, and orbit. And he kind of assumes, with that in mind, that maybe they controlled an asteroid to destroy the dinosaurs, because they could not populate with those giant ass dinosaurs stomping around. Which makes me to think, isn't there an alleged asteroid in like 2035 that's like a 3% chance, or they'd keep changing it? What if the amphetamine, I'll just say aliens. I don't know why it's so hard for me to find the word amphibian. I don't know why it's difficult for me to find it, but it is. It's difficult for me to find that word in my library vocabulary flip fucking filing cabinet of the mind. So if these things can control asteroids and planets with waves and energy and frequency and vibration, what if they're like, okay, well, if shit isn't going good by 2035, I guess we got to kill them and start over. What if that's the thing? So he has all these documents at the end that prove sort of that he isn't crazy, that he actually has in the background that he says he does. I don't know how long it's been. Let's see what I got in my notes. I'm so tired. All I ever want to do is sleep. Oh, yeah. So George Lowe died. Shout out George Lowe. Space Ghost. And for the longest time, I wanted to get a voicemail and purchase shit off of his website. I never did. And I am upset because he's passed away. But what bothers me is that Adult Swim doesn't care about those people that laid the foundation for that fucking network. Foundation. Because C. Martin Croker died in poverty without insurance, and he died, from what I can remember, from like a painful tooth. And he couldn't afford to get his tooth fixed or pulled or whatever. I don't know how George Lowe died, and I don't know how he was living. I know he had like expensive paintings. I know he had that. So I don't like when Adult Swim pretends that they give a shit when they let one of our heroes die. And maybe he's not your hero, but C. Martin Croker certainly played a pivotal role in the creation of Adult Swim. He was Zorak, if I remember correctly. I don't know if he did Moltar. I don't think he did. But he did Zorak. He was an animator. Say his name. But it bothers me just to see a corporate entity almost, celebrate a death in the sense that this energy, when we die, it has to come somewhere, and it's like the corporate entity that is Warner Brothers. I'm not even going to say Adult Swim, Warner Brothers, whoever owns them. As soon as somebody dies, they got to use that energy and turn it into profit. And is it good that they, light a candle in the fucking window for him? Yeah, I'm not complaining that it would be worse if they didn't. I will say that. It would be worse if they didn't do anything. But me, myself, personally, as a person, do not pretend that they truly gave a fuck. When was the last time we heard George Lowe on Adult Swim? I don't know. I really don't know. He seemed to be doing a lot of conventions. Carrie Means, Frylock. He's always doing conventions. I wouldn't say he's a pivotal role for the foundation of Adult Swim, but Aqua Teen Hunger Force certainly is a significant show in the history of Adult Swim. And I don't wish death upon any of the voice actors, Dana Snyder or Carrie Means or whomever the fuck played Meatwad. But what I am saying is that whenever their untimely death is, they are going to probably pretend like they gave a fuck. And it would be a shame if, because Dana Snyder is at least, he's active in voice acting. But it would be a damn shame if Carrie Means died in poverty from a fucking fucked up tooth like C. Mountain Croker. And for Adult Swim to then be like, remember Frylock? Wasn't he great? He played he was Carrie Means. We loved and we missed him. And it's like, no, you guys didn't, because you could at least been like, hey, voice acting, you don't get, it's not like regular acting where you get a fucking paycheck at the end. You just get paid for your voices. You get paid once, and there's no, whatever that shit's called. And hello, Nibbles. You see my cat right here. Whatever that's called, where you get money afterwards. I forget. My mind has other words in it, but not that word, like disinfectant wipes.
Nothing's off limits. As much as you want. Nothing's off limits. As much as you want. Everything on the shelves is available. Nothing's off limits. As much as you want. When you come to the checkout counter, you never see the amount. You never see the total. Your wallet stays in your pocket. The bill is sent to the government and is never heard from again. You
know that face. Why, you're the Secretary of the Treasury.
This is confidential. You see, I've come to your bank on behalf of the government to ask for a loan, $40 billion.
Oh, come now, you must be kidding.
No, I'm serious. The government is bankrupt.
Bankrupt? The United States government bankrupt?
Yes.
Impossible.
No, it's true.
But how?
I'm going to start getting involved so I can make a difference. And then after a few days or weeks, you wonder why it hasn't happened. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening. Nothing is happening.
We know a little place in the American far west where Charlie Briggs chops up the finest prairie-fed beef and tastes
color, best, greeting.
Dial.
Money. Before 1945, or whenever, I'm not sure about the date, don't quote me, vaccine started, we didn't have cancer. Now you got cancer in dogs. Money. Follow the money. Follow the money. Because that's what motivates these people. The backbone of the pharmaceutical company are vaccines. Because it's not just in America. Those same companies are shipping vaccines all over the world. We ship millions of vials of it to Africa. And look, AIDS is rampant in Africa.
She says the baby has the measles.
If you can't eat a whole pie, you're reminding yourself of this brand of soap.
This is a lot of shit, you know that.
I believe that doctors don't become doctors to heal people. I think they become doctors to make money. There's a lot going on, and we're being distracted. Football, basketball, American Music Awards. I don't care what they say. That's the way I feel about it. You name it, where everything's a distraction to the truth.
Dear.
Well, now, measles, that's not so serious.
You want one more? More on what, beef?
You missed the first beef, actually, completely.
What do you mean, missed it?
You're emphasizing prairie fed.
But you can't emphasize beef. That's like he's wanting me to emphasize in before July. Come on, fellas, you're losing your heads. I wouldn't direct any living actor like this in Shakespeare. Will you do this? It's impossible.
Orson, you did 6 last year, and by far and away the best, and I know the reason.
The right reading for this is the one I'm giving you.
At the moment.
I spent 20 times more for you people than any other commercial I've ever made. You were such pests. Now, what is it you want?
No,
In your depths of your ignorance, what is it you want? Whatever it is you want, I can't deliver because I just don't see it.
That was absolutely fine, it really was.
You isn't worth it. No money is worth it.